So good day everyone. My name is Elizabeth Bell M. Bakilan, but you can call me Bea for short. We are going now to present what are the level of analysis as well as the three perspective of the social issue poverty. Together with my group mates, Ayesa Carel Digno, Cherry May Jimena, Mac Jandal Pugay, Lorenzo Abrigo, and Jeremy Cole Bergman. So let's start with Lorenzo Abrigo.
Macrosociology. Macrosociology focus upon large-scale and long-term social process of organization, institution, and broad social pattern, including state, social class, and the family, the economy, culture, and society. Next, poverty is a state of or condition in which a person or community lacks the financial resource essentials for a minimum standard of living. Next, poverty in terms of macro-sociology. Social organization. Poor families don't get a lot of benefits in healthcare, education, jobs. Poor family more likely depend on government benefits, program, and social and financial assistance. Next, social classes. Uh, Poor families are more likely in the lower class family. In lower class family, economic resources are much tighter, and sometimes even necessities like food might be a struggle to obtain. Next, economy. Poverty rates are related to the overall health of the economy. As the economy grows, so do opportunities for employment and income growth. Stronger labor market are and high. Wait lang. Okay na pala. Sige na.
So, okay po. So, yung sociology ay yung nasa gitna ng macro and micro. Kasi nga, meso. Next, Jerry. So, kaya may human body dyan. Isipin natin na yung macro ay yung isang buong human body. Ang meso niya ay yung mga systems na nasa loob ng katawan natin like reproductive system, respiratory system, digestive system, and friends. Okay, next na, Jerry. So, eto nga pala yung mga effects ng poverty sa community, sa society natin. So, una, bad sanitation. Pansin naman natin sa mga poverty-stricken areas, medyo madumi talaga at saka maraming basura kasi nga badly sanitized yung environment nila. So, ano mangyayari doon? Malaki ang chance na kakalat ang mga sakit like dengue at kung ano pa. Unemployment, syempre, pag kulang ka nga ng pinag-aralan, mahirap kayo, di ka nakapag-aral, mahirapan ka talagang mag-apply sa mga trabaho tsaka yung mga requirements, mahirapan kang makakuha nun. Poorly built infrastructures naman, ito yung mga nagbabudget cutting ng mga pagpapatuloy ng mga building na kailangan sa mga community. So pag tinipid yung paggagawa ng mga buildings na yon, ang mangyari, malaki ang chance na gumuho siya na pwedeng maka-damage o maka-harm sa mga tao sa community. Discrimination, pag nanggaling ka sa isang community na mahirap, katulad ng mga payatas, ganun, marami magsabi na, taga ganito yan, mabaho yan, di nakapag-aral. Katulad din sa Africa, isipin agad ng mga tao na wala silang alam, palagi silang gutom at mabaho sila. Sa education naman, malaking effect niya kasi bukod sa, alam naman natin yung iba na sobrang hirap wala silang classroom, blackboards. Isipin natin yung mga, kahit yung mga developed cities naman o communities, meron niya silang classroom, pero wala sila nung mga importante na mga bagay ngayon like computers. Kaya malaki talaga ang epekto ng poverty sa education ng bata. Okay na.
Ayan, okay po. Ang next po natin is microsociology. So, ang micro level po, dun po natin tinatakil yung individual in their social setting. So, ang micro level, tinatawag din po siyang local level. At ito po yung smallest unit in the social sciences.
Ayun na how power structures and power disparities impact people's lives. Sa madaling salita, ito ay ang power inequalities. The rich keep getting richer as the saying goes as the poor keep getting poorer. Bakit nga ba mas yumayaman pa ng yumayaman ang mayaman at mas humihirap pa ng humihirap ang mahirap? Ano nga bang mga dahilan at epekto nito sa atin? Unang cause, we have here some causes. No? Ang unang cause natin is lack the motivation to work hard, to work and have certain beliefs and values that contribute to their poverty. So sinabi dito na kung mahirap tayo, hindi naman sa lahat ng bagay, pero pag mahirap kasi ang isang tao, nawawala na sila ng motivasyon para magsumikap pa sa buhay. Iniisip nila na hanggang dito na lang ako, ganyan. Parang wala na akong pag-asang mabuhay o parang wala na akong pag-asang umangat sa buhay. Pangalawa, yung feminization of poverty, kung saan ito yung mga diskriminasyon sa kababaihan, sa buong bilang na kahirapan, mas lamang ang kababaihan kaysa sa kalalakihan. Dahil mas yung opportunity sa bilang ng trabaho ay mas gusto nila ang kalalakihan kaysa sa kababaihan. Environmental problem pagdating sa lugar, ang example nito is El Nino, nang dahil sa pagsasaka, kulang tayo sa katubigan, nang dahil dito, nagkukulang tayo sa supply para magkaroon ng magandang ani at magandang supply ng pagkain. At ang huli ay ang unemployment due to lack of income, no? Wala tayong pangsustento para sa sarili natin or para sa pamilya natin. Nang dahil dito ay nagdudulot to ng kahirapan sa bansa or para sa sarili natin.
So next naman po is effects of poverty in micro-level unit. Unang-una po dyan ay sa isang individual. At dyan po pumapasok ang poor nutrition and health. So dahil nga mahirap, kulang po sila sa pagkain. Kulang na kulang po yung nutrition na nabibigay nila sa katawan nila kasi nga wala po silang pambili. Pangalawa po is dahil nga wala silang pambiling pagkain, mas prone sila sa sakit dahil kulang po yung nutrition, wala silang pambili ng gamot, pang maintenance sa sakit na nararamdaman nila. Pangalawa po is lack of housing. So karaniwan po sa atin ay mga nakatira lang sa kalsada or sa squatter area, yung mga mahihirap po. So mas prone po sila sa danger. Katulad na nga din po ng yung mga yung sa wala rin po silang access sa malinis na tubig at malinis na sanitation area. Pangatlo is delinquency. So kapag mahirap, walang pera, kailangan po nilang kumapit sa patalim. Ang ginagawa po nila is minsan may mga magnanakaw, may mga nagtutulak ng drugs, or minsan naman kadalasan sa babae ay prostitution. So, pang-apat po is negative or positive response to the situation. So, yung kahirapan po is nasa sa atin na yan kung pipiliin po ba nating maging mahirap na lang panghabang buhay or magsumikap kasi may mga pangarap ka, kailangan mo iahon yung sarili mo sa kahirapan. So, meron po tayong kasabihan doon na hindi mo kasalanan maging pinanganak na mahirap, pero kasalanan mo na yon kapag ikaw ay namatay na mahirap. So, doon po yung thinking ng isang tao kung paano ba siya magre-respond sa kanyang sitwasyon.
Mayroon tayong tinatawag na bourgeoisie versus proletariat. Anong pinagkaiba ng bourgeoisie versus proletariat? Sa madaling salita, ang bourgeoisie ay ito yung boss at yung proletariat ito yung labor. Kung saan mas malaki yung kinikita sa isang production ng bourgeoisie kaysa sa labor sa proletariat. Kung saan kumikita lang ng minimum wage ang proletariat kahit sila yung gumagawa ng production. Nang dahil dito, nananatili pa rin namumuhay sa kahirapan ang mga labor. Pangalawa, income inequality. ang sinabi nga sa poor family tsaka sa wealthier family, kahit magtrabaho ng OT-OT ang isang poor parent or poor isang tao, hindi pa rin nagiging sapat para sa pangtustos sa isang pamilya. Unlike sa wealthier, no, kahit hindi na mag-OT, may sapat silang sinasahod. Na dahil siguro sa educational attainment na tinapos sa isang tao, ay may nagiging epekto rin ito. Pangatlo ay early pregnancy, kung saan minor de edad ka pa, wala ka pang kakayahan na magbuhay ng isang panibagong buhay, ng panibagong sanggol, bumuo ka na ng pamilya. Nagdudulot ito ng kahirapan dahil ikaw lang paano kung nabuhay ka rin sa isang mahirap na pamilya at sa bubuo ka ulit ng panibagong mahirap na pamilya. Pang-apat ay divorce, kung bakit kasama ang divorce sa pagdulot ng kahirapan. Ang paghihirap ng magdalawang mag-asawa or ang paghihiwalay ng dalawang mag-asawa ay nagdudulot ng kahirapan sapagkat kung kayo'y may anak, yung lalaki iniwan ng kanyang asawa at anak, nagkaroon ng bagong pamilya, hindi na niya masusustentuhan yung unang pamilya. So mamipilitan magtrabaho yung babae, may iwan yung anak sa tagapag-alaga or sa kamag-anak, nagtatrabaho yung babae kasi nga wala nang nagbibigay sa kanila ng sustento. Pero hindi pa rin yung sapat para mabayaran yung monthly bills nila, yung pang-araw-araw na gastusin nila. Nang dahil dito, yung divorce ay isa rin sa dahilan kung bakit nagkakos ang poverty.
So, next naman po is, paano nakaka-apekto ang kahirapan sa isang pamilya? Unang-una na po dyan ay ang hardship at stress. So, dahil nga mababa lang ang kinikita ni nanay at tatay, hindi niya kayang sustentuhan ng pangangailangan ng mga anak niya or pangangailangan ng buong pamilya. Halimbawa na lang ng bahay, pagkain, pananamit, healthcare services, at iba pa. So, dahil nga ganon, mababa lang kinikita, may financial uncertainty silang nararanasan. So, pangalawa is isolation and exclusion. Homelessness due to lack of parents' attention. So, syempre, kapag si nanay at tatay ay pares na nagtatrabaho, diyan hindi nagagampanan ni nanay at tatay ang kanyang pagiging magulang sa anak. So, doon nakakaranas yung bata ng parang lumalayo yung loob niya sa kanyang mga magulang kasi nga hindi siya nabibigyan ng atensyon. Pangatlo is longer term impact. So, limited job opportunity because of low educational attainment. Ayun, katulad nga ng mga sinabi nila is kapag mababa lang yung napag-aralan mo, mas mababa lang yung job na pwede mong makuha. Halimbawa na lang yung janitor. Doon, kailangan may high school diploma ka, etc. etc. Pero kapag naman presidente, ang tatakbuhan mo, pwedeng Pilipino ka lang, marunong kang magsulat at magbasa, tapos 40 years old ka lang, okay ka na. Pero kapag doon nga, sa sinabi ko nung una, nalilimatahan lang yung opportunity na meron para sa mga mahihirap kasi hindi sila hanggang doon lang yung kaya ng educational na naabot nila.
So, meron tayo ditong the poverty cycle, no, kung saan nabuhay ka sa isang mahirap na pamilya, lumaki ka sa isang mahirap na pamilya, hindi ka nakapagtapos, at hindi ka nagkaroon ng magandang trabaho dahil nga hindi ka nakapagtapos ng pag-aaral, magpipil ka sa pamilya, magbubuo ka lang ng panibagong kahirapan sa buhay nyo. So, nang dahil dito, hindi, sabi nga ni Cherry na hindi mo kasalanan mabuhay ng mahirap, ang kasalanan mo ay mamatay ng mahirap, no? Marami namang paraan, gamitin mong inspirasyon yung kahirapan para umangat sa buhay na hindi habang buhay mahirap kayo, lahat may paraan para umangat sa buhay.
So, next po, kung paano po na-apektuhan ng kahirapan ay ang relationships. So, una na po dyan ay social isolation. So, kapag mahirap ka, di ba, at tingin sa atin ng mga tao tulad ng sinabi ni MJ ay mabaho, madungis, marumi, Diyan lumalayo sa atin yung mga tao. Tapos meron pa tayong sinasabi na kapag mahirap ka, konti lang yung kaibigan mo kasi wala silang benefit na makukuha sa'yo. Di ba meron mga ganun tao na kailangan ka lang nila kasi may kailangan sila sa'yo, ganyan. So, pangalawa is poor relationship with parents. So, may sinabi dun sa isang survey na sa isang linggo, isang beses or dalawang beses nag-aaway ang isang magulang at anak dahil si anak ay nagreklamo na hindi niya naibibigay ni nanay ang mga pangangailangan niya. So, lumalayo yung loob, nasisira yung relasyon ng pamilya. So, maaari yun magdulot ng kawalan ng atensyon para sa isa't isa.
Poverty in the perspective of the three theoretical paradigms of sociology. Next slide. So according to Lumen Learning, poverty is the condition of not having access to material resources, income, or wealth. And as we can see now, it is prevalent in everywhere and most of us that it affects our choices and decisions in life. That's why we need to study this as it has an impact on our lives as an individual and to the society as a whole. So we use the three theoretical paradigms of sociology to explain this particular social issue. Next slide. So first is the structural functionalism of Emile Durkheim, who viewed society as a complex system of interrelated and interdependent parts that work together to maintain stability. Thus, poverty is viewed in this perspective as functional to the society, even though it has a bad impact on the people. It still ensures us that there are people who will continuously work to fill up the important positions in the society by qualified people who are motivated by the high position incentives or privileges. Any changes in the social patterns can cause dysfunction. Therefore, alleviating poverty in this perspective can be dysfunctional to the society. On the other hand, conflict theory by Karl Marx viewed society as a competition for limited resources between the rich and the poor for their own benefits. Thus, poverty in this perspective is seen as caused by inequality of different social classes, or also known as social stratification, which is the hierarchical arrangement of social classes or castes within the society. For this reason, the increasing gap of wealth and power in different social classes can become the source of the broadening poverty we experience nowadays. So next slide po. Unlike the two that are focused on macro sociology, symbolic and interactionism by Max Weber is a micro-level theory that focuses on the relationships among men within the society and their interactions that creates the shared reality they assigned meaning to. The assigned meaning may vary from the context and the personal values and beliefs of the person. For example, we can imagine a beggar as poor, or a person with small house, low-income jobs, blue-collar jobs, or many part-time jobs as poor also. So this shared reality affects our choices and decisions in life in a way that we are motivated to be freed from poverty by doing our best in work to change our social conditions to be better, to improve our lives, and to help other people who has the same shared reality with us, and hopefully be an agent of change. Next na po, si Bea na po.
Ayan. So, social conflict theory is the primary perspective on our group to tackle about us. So, first is social conflict theory. So, pag sinabi natin social conflict theory, it is about what are the forms or from different groups and perspectives. So, una, according to social conflict theory or social conflict theory, Stratification results from lack of opportunity and discrimination against poor and people of color. So pag sinabi nating stratification, it is the arrange of classification of something into different groups. So pag sinabi nating stratification, meron tayong ginagawang mga social class. So pag sinabi nating social class, merong mayaman, mahirap, or may kaya. Or tinatawag na natin high, middle, and low class. So the individualistic view attributes poverty to individual failings of poor people themselves, while structural view attributes poverty to problem in a larger society. So what does it mean? So there are interconnected with each other. So individualistic view attributes from the individual failings of people. Example, there is a man who are failing poor of people. Pag sinabi natin failing of poor people, yung isang tao lang yung may kasalanan kung bakit siya mahirap. So, pag sinabi natin structural view, that is a larger scale. So, larger scale siya. So, tinitingnan natin kung bakit naging mahirap yung isang tao. Either dahil ba sa nature of work, nature of family, or nature of places na meron siya. So, next slide po. Conflict theories argue that stratification is dysfunctional. So pag sinabi natin dysfunctional and harmful to society, it is a result in competition between rich and the poor as individual acts for their own economic advantage. So pag sinabi natin economic advantage, ito yung kung sino yung mas mayaman or kung sino yung mas may kakayahan, siya yung mas angat para ma-provide yung mga basic needs. Sample ng basic need natin is food, shelter, and home. Okay? So, next po, conflict theories holds competition that is inequality are not inevitable. Pag sinabi natin not inevitable, it is unavoidable. So, hindi natin maiiwasan na magkaroon naman ng competition at inequality. Kasi, they are trying to gain access with the scarce resources. Pag sinabi natin scarce resources, number one is iniiwasan natin na magutom tayo or tinatawag natin na magkaroon ng food shortage supply. So, kailan po nangyayari ito na nagkakaroon ng competition? Mainly, one best example of it is during pandemic crisis. This pandemic crisis helps or mainly targeted those basic needs of people. So, may mga nawalan ng trabaho, kaya walang makain. So, ganun lang yung flow nung competition na yun. A sociological theory of poverty that argues that stratification is dysfunctional and harmful, but persists it benefits the poor and rich. So, kailan po ba magiging beneficial ang sociological theory of poverty? Na although kahit dysfunctional siya, is magiging beneficial siya for the both. So, example nito is kapag si mayaman ay binigyan si mahirap. So, therefore, they are creating a fair and rational poverty or rational thinking na meron talagang fairness and fairness sa stratification. So, next slide po. I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit nervous regarding on how I will discuss this kind of perspective. So, next to it is conflict theory approach, a critical of structural functionalism. So, nasabi na siya kanina ni Jem, so hindi ko na masyadong i-elaborate. So, next is difficult to determine the function importance. So, kagaya nga ng sabi, part siya ng structural functionalism is yung job, money, and etc. So, next po tayo. Next slide po. Ayan. According to conflict theories, the system does not work so easily or perfectly. There are barriers to qualified people ascending hierarchy. So, nabanggit ko kanina, there is absences. So, pag sinabi natin absences, makikita natin dito, ano pa yung mga barriers nito. So, unang-una na is accessing the primary resources of needs. So, pag sinabi natin primary resources of needs, dito papasok yung pera, employment, as well as mode of survival ng isang tao dito sa society na meron siya. Next, argue that stratification is dysfunctional and harmful to the society. So, ibig sabihin nito, they are not operating normally, properly, and deviating from the norms from the social behavior is a way regarded as a bad implication. So, next po. Pero ang social conflict theory ay naniniwala na there is a competitive system together with structural barriers. So our upward mobility ends with creating a perpetuating stratification system. So pag sinabi natin mobility ends, the ability to move or freely and easily. So the ability to move between different levels of society or employment. So sa stratification pala, hindi pala siya na once na nandun ka lang is you will stay at there. So pwedeng mabago 'yon in the long run. Okay? So holds that competition not inevitable but are created and maintained by people. So conclusion lang with this social issue, poverty, we cannot escape poverty. Imagine since back then, meron na talagang poverty. So in the long run, so nag-nourish lang talaga yung stratification, kaya nagkakaroon ng classes. So in Marxism, that is only a idealism na all class is fair and equal. So hindi naman maaari na ibigay nung mayaman na yung pinaghirapan niya dun sa mga mahihirap para maging pantay sila. So therefore, the group concludes that social issue of poverty is not easy to conquer. But in the long run, they can be suppressed. I think pwede natin siya malimit in such factors relying on it. So other groups will discuss what are the factors relies on the poverty. So this is only a focus of poverty as a whole. So good day and thank you very much.